Another day in paradise. It's no biggie. It's no biggie. My life in Panama has been pretty uneventful. So I'm not complaining. I did not complain. But you kind of have to be prepared for some things. What time is it? 1:30. Let's see who's not doing anything and coming on. Look at my face. Yesterday I stopped by to get the fish at the mercado and I had the plantain. So, like I say, I don't want to die saying, oh, I wish I had the plantain. No. I'm going to have it. I'm going to swell up for a day or two and then it will come down. My reins are still okay, so that means I'm not too swollen. Welcome. I need to title this No Power. So today wasn't too crazy hot. And I was sitting on the patio because part of my patio next to my bedroom, if I open the door, I have a couple of chairs there. And if I go around to the front, I have another couple of chairs. So usually, if it gets really, really, really hot, I have to, stop. But today I was like, oh, there's a little breeze. It's not bad. So I went, got my coffee, got my computer because I got some stuff to work on. Hola, MS Parker. And I said, let me sit out here and start working. By that time, it was starting to get a little bit warm. And this sister, who was here for maybe a few months, as she was heading back home, she gave me a bunch of things. And one of the things she gave me was this stand-up little fan. And let me tell you, this has been my lifeline right now. Like I said, no power. So, look like it's gonna rain. So I am sitting there, I have the little fan, and I was thinking, okay, let me take a picture to tell her, hey Tina, I'm so grateful for your gift, look how I can use it. And I'm working, and then I looked up, the fan had stopped. And I was like, now that's weird, because in my building, we do have a backup generator, which is something I recommend everybody who comes to look for an apartment, make sure you ask, is there a backup generator? And I'm like, that is weird. Usually the backup generator kicks in like in seconds. So I stayed and I stayed. I'm like, oh. And then I looked, I was on my phone. My phone usually works like this. I'm talking to you on, even if there's no Wi-Fi, I think I'm using somebody's hotspot, I guess. Ooh, look at the weather. It's starting to get bad. Look outside. Yes. So that's when you say you're glad you're indoors, you're in your house, that you are not, hola, try natural. So the fan had stopped. So I come in, flick all the lights, no power. And the first thing that comes to mind, ooh, is that like a little helicopter over the water? That's interesting. And usually what happens is if you don't pay your bills, the company that provides electricity here is called Naturgy, Naturgy, in the city. And I know in other places, like in Costa del Este, they buy electricity from another company. This company will shut off your electric if you don't pay your bills. It doesn't matter what happens. So I sent a message to the front desk and I'm like, is there a problem with the electricity? And then he said, call administration, and he gave me a number. And I'm like, do they mean administration here or administration at Naturgy? Because a couple of ladies in the building had gone through that twice where their power was shut off. And between the language barrier and it was so frustrating. The owner, who was not local, had not paid a bill. So they got it together and they paid whatever was in arrear and they reestablished electricity. And it happened to them again. I was like, oh no. But I know me. I pay online. My bill is not that big. And every time I go on my account, I have my rent set in there in the app from my account to my landlord's account. And then I set up Naturgy, which is my electricity. I set up my T-Mobile, which is the cell phone. And I set up, what's the other one? Tigo, which is for the internet and cable. So I have all those in my, so whenever I go to pay one person, I always check the others to see, is there anything pending? If there is not a bill that is due, it will say 0. And I remember not too long ago paying Naturgy. It was like 20-some dollars. And I'm like, I know I am not at fault. But I wanted to confirm, because you never know, stuff happens. Sisters come here and they'll say, and I know there is a girl here, Treva, I think her name is, and she had like a $500+ bill and she couldn't figure out what it was. And I know trying to get the company to tell you what's going on could be, la la land. So I think she ended up paying the bill because she couldn't figure out what was wrong. Whether somebody read the meter wrong, whether something is wrong with the meter, no say, nobody knows, okay? So, I wanted to be sure they weren't messing with my account with me. So I said, I'm just going to get dressed and get there to Naturgy. I remember it's not that far. It's 2 metro stop. Let me go get it from the horse's mouth. So I took a couple of bills with me because they're going to ask you, el número de suscriptor. It's like the subscriber, they call it. It's not like an account number. And I didn't want to have to remember that. So, I told you I have 3 phones. My phone now I'm talking to you on had all my WhatsApp and everything. But the phone that I have my app for my bank is the other phone, which has no internet. So I was thinking, if I get there and they say, show us where you paid, I couldn't access. I'm like, okay, but when I get to the office, maybe I can let me use their contraseña, which is their password, and I could log on. But anyway. So I got there, got on the metro, went to Naturgy, I sat there, I said, and then, when you get there, you have to put the number, like with the LabCorp in the States, and they give you a number, and then they call you, you have to watch the screen when they call that number. I think the same system is at immigration here, and a lot of the things. So they called me, I said, okay, I'm here, I don't have any power, and I know I don't owe you any money. And the young lady was very nice, and she's checking. I gave her the bill that I had. She got the number. She said, no, everything good over here. I'm like, oh, that's good. They weren't messing with me. And she said, did you call administration? So I said, oh, let me call my building. So I called. And then the lady's like, oh, yeah, we were doing some electrical work, and something happened. What apartment are you? I told her, and she's like, yeah, but it's been resolved. I'm like, okay, at least I know they weren't messing with me. Ooh, it looks bad. We're going to have another bad storm. It's rainy season here, you guys. So if this thing gets cut off, that's why. Because I'm probably using somebody's hotspot because I have no internet. And I have my class 6 starting at 6 o'clock today. So if I have no internet, it would be not very easy to use the phone in landscape to teach a class. That's what I said. Manage your expectation and roll with the punches. So then I came in and I said, I'm going to stop at administration and said, it would have been nice for you to send us a WhatsApp to tell us that was going to happen that way, because it is so warm. You can't stay in this apartment with no AC, and I couldn't even run the fan. I said I would have gone to the pool and just, hola, carpe diem, ¿cómo estás? I said I would have known, so I said I'm going to stop at the office and tell them, next time something like that happens, let us know ahead of time so we can prepare. I'm going to make a point. So I go there in the office. They're on the 2nd level. The main lady that I'm familiar with, she's attending to another person who probably lives here, has question. And I'm standing there, right inside the office door. And I know she's busy. So I'm like, okay. But there's another young lady who's sitting there at the desk. I sat there for a good I stood there for a good 5 minutes. Once it's doing the reconnecting thing, so it go off, you guys. So the young lady did not even acknowledge that I was standing there. Another thing I'm trying to tell you, manage your expectation. Customer service, the way you think of it, it's not a thing here. So the fact that she did not acknowledge me did not surprise me. Some expats really get their feelings hurt when they don't get the same level of service. So I never got to tell them they should have sent me, it probably wouldn't have mattered anyway. So I just walked out without even talking to anybody. I said, okay, I'm going to go up there and see what happened. Because they told me, se resolvió, that means everything resolved. So I get in the elevator, and there is my landlady. Hey. So I explained to her about the electricity, and she's very responsive. Like, oh, she said, okay, go check it out. If there is any issue, cualquier problema me avisa. Let me know, avísame. I'm like, okay, I can do that. So I come in and I flick the hallway light. I'm like, oh, there is light. And then I turn the AC on in the bedroom and it's acting kind of very halfway. And I'm like, oh. But the light comes on and I turn to the right for the hall to go into the bathroom. There's no light. I'm like, oh, I need to air this place out. So my dehumidifier in the bedroom now doesn't work. The humidifier in the guest room works. Okay. I go to the living room to turn the other fan on. No electricity. The TV, no electricity. Where my laptop plugs in, no electricity. So no Wi-Fi still, because the Wi-Fi, the router is on the same wall. In the bedroom, no electric. So I have electric in the kitchen, in the hall, and nowhere else. So that's why I went outside, got the little fan, and back wall. It keeps me connecting. So I have electric in a third of this. It's insane. So I text the landlady again, and I'm like, yeah. And then I went on the control panel, like the good troubleshooter that I am, and I just flipped everything, reset everything, ding, 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 everything. Still, the microwave started doing this little beeping sound, so it's not working. The stove, I had the stove doors open because I was cleaning it, so I put some stuff in there. Okay, guys, I'm going to hurry up because this thing. So I have electricity for like a third. I don't know if I'm going to be able to teach my class. And the lady came, the landlady, she said, okay, when I had the part going on. Oh, listen. It took a long time to get back. Maggie, do you live? Do you live in Balboa? Yes. Is the noise unbearable? No. It depends on what you mean by unbearable. Like right now, no. It depends on what you mean by unbearable. Like right now, I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. If you have noise canceling doors and windows, be okay. Technical problem, yes. Like I said, I it's because this internet situation. So if it goes off, it's gonna be it. Okay, so just manage your expectation. You know how we have the same thing happen in the States when they hit a power line. That's what's happening here. Except that it's my business. Whatever they're doing, I don't know. Hopefully the appliances don't get messed up. My class tonight, but all in a day's work, my life in paradise. You just kind of roll with it, and you're like, oh, okay. At least I know I'm not on the blacklist that I owe them money, because I know I don't owe them money. The noise is bearable, sis. On the weekend they do hot rods, and a lot of us get used to it. This morning I was sitting there watching. I'm like, yeah, it gets noisy, but when I look, you see, there's like a little flashlight going in my bedroom. When I look at the water, noise, ocean view, you know, you just pick your battle. What's most important to you? Some people like to just be right there on the beach. We're not like that. We have the water views, but nobody can go in the water here on Balboa. I've been here 3 years, so I'm used to it, right? Some people run to like Punta Pacifica, or they go somewhere else where it's less noisy. You know, it's just, it's all about choices. But anyway, so it's like I don't know what to do with myself without my computer. Maybe I should reorganize my closet. I was gonna do a live to show you guys how I'm going to declutter, downsize my closet again, because I feel like I have too much stuff in the closet. And you know, I keep preaching being portable and minimalist living, and I want to be able to show that. Today is Thursday, so tomorrow they're supposed to come. The lady said today was just like they're gonna patch it, but tomorrow they're gonna do this whole work. She said from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm like, okay, I'll be out of here, because there's no way I'm gonna sit here and sweat it out. So tomorrow is Friday. I don't have classes, so that's good. I can just, maybe I'll go to the mall and just sit there. But oh, it hasn't done it in a few seconds. But you know, and of course, if you don't live in the city, you live in the, they're doing some work, people go to complain about. If there is a place at the mall that's the one to access, your financials, your bank account, I've said that before on a public Wi-Fi. In my cookbook, so I could do more on a public Wi-Fi. In my cookbook, so I could do those, but I still need internet access. So that's, I wonder if